Patch 1.8 for Marvel's Avengers introduced a neat little bug where a string of characters appeared on screen if you were on the PS5 version of the video game. Just a random little bit of text with no real significance. It was a real not big deal, and people kind of exploded about it, and I'd like to explain why. Now, if you couldn't tell that right a moment ago, that was incredibly sarcastic. The information that appeared on screen was, of course, the IP address, which is very sensitive information and should never really be displayed to anyone but the person whose IP it is. I want to make it very clear that I do not think that this should have occurred, and it's really bad. That should be made incredibly clear. Now, this issue doesn't affect very many people, to be honest with you. It only really affects you if you planned on streaming the video game or, recording gameplay of it and sending that to people, right? It only matters if somebody else that isn't you is looking at your screen, and really, somebody looking at it has to know what to do with it in order to make it a bad thing. Now, you might be asking, what can somebody do if they have this funny string of characters? Well, they could, in fact, find your exact location using your IP address. There's a bunch more detail I could go into, but to spare you the boring stuff, we'll stick with that. So I do not play Marvel's Avengers on PS5 yet. I'm buying it, don't worry. I want Spider-Man. So I had to find out about this issue on Twitter from another creator that talks about Marvel's Avengers a good amount. You might know him. His name is Cyael. He's pretty cool, man. And honestly, I feel like we disagree on a lot of things, which isn't a bad thing. But this, I think we do agree on. This is a bad thing. Kyle's IP address should never have been shown to anybody, much less his audience, because who knows what they might do with such information. It's probably not good. You don't want your IP address given to anybody. But like I said, if you were just playing the game, there's actually no real issue. You just have like a piece of text on your screen, and you probably wouldn't even know what it was. 90% of the people that play the game, so like 400 people, this doesn't affect. They very much should have handled explaining the issue with more tact and class, because they kind of initially tried to cover it up, and that's what I was poking fun at earlier with that little funny string of numbers. They didn't tell you outright what the issue was, and they really should have been clear about that just to avoid people being stupid and streaming it, and, because people don't really necessarily know what an IP address is unless you're, a little tech savvy. There are people that are not that. You might be that, and that's great. Good for you, but a lot of people aren't, unfortunately. Fortunately, shortly after, and I think we should commend them a little bit for this, they were very upfront about the issue, and they did say it was the IP address, and they did tell people not to stream if they're on the PS5 platform, which is good. They should do that, but they should have done it from the start right away with no attempt to even sort of cover this up, because it's not the kind of thing that you should try to cover up at all. That's a bad thing to try to do. I shouldn't have to explain that. But something else I would like to commend them on is the speed at which they resolved the issue, and again, it shouldn't have occurred in the first place, but they did go right ahead and fix it over the course of 24 hours, and given what platform it's on, the PlayStation 5, that's impressive. It's hard to get patches approved by Sony, especially that fast. Hot fixes on consoles are not the easiest thing to do, so good job on them for getting it out as soon as they possibly could. That is good. Again, shouldn't have happened. I want to make that very clear. I do not think it's a good thing that it happened. Good thing that they fixed it really quickly. Now, how does an issue like this even come through? How did this not get picked up? How did they not see it? Well, that's because I think it's platform specific, right? This only occurs on the PS5. So somebody was going through, checking all the builds before release, making sure everything was good, and they missed something, and that's a very human mistake to make. Some singular human being approved the build and was wrong, and that occurs. It's really unfortunate that it happened, but it is a mistake nonetheless. We all make them. It's a mistake with pretty bad repercussions, but it is a mistake nonetheless. At least it wasn't every single build of the game with this issue. That would have been a bigger problem. I think a lot of people think that the conversation behind releasing the build went something like this. Hey, that's a funny string of number. What'd that do? Oh, it's probably nothing. Oh yeah, that's probably fine. Release it. When in reality, I think the conversation was probably a little more like this. Hey, you checked those builds yet? Yep, they're good to go. All right, release them. And they probably just missed it entirely. So I think that, again, these things are unfortunately kind of easy to miss, and I'm glad that they fixed it rapid fire, but I don't think it should have happened in the first place, especially with this kind of personal information. Cyael, I hope you're a good man. I hope nothing is terribly wrong. I hope nobody showed up at your doorstep. That would really suck. My heart goes out. That shit sucks. I'm sorry that happened to you, man. Hit that subscribe button if you're interested in more of my shit. I make Marvel's Avengers videos a lot. It's a good time. Did you know 90% of the people who watch my shit aren't subscribed? Follow me on other social medias if you want. Alright, thank you very much. I'm gonna head the fuck out. Here's some outtakes of me doing vocal stuff if you're interested in that. It's stupid.
Thanks for watching, beta testers.
These are some vocal exercises. Yep.